First off, if you haven't seen my first video covering the best Goosebumps titles, I recommend checking that out, because you'll get to see a pretty shitty burnt popcorn comparison. So yeah, hello everybody, my name is Goosebumps for Dummies, and today I'm going to be talking about the worst Goosebumps titles of all time. And I'm gonna just tell you right now, there's a lot of variety, and some of these are one in particular. The first one, I'm gonna piss some people off, because it is a very popular book. But we have an OG series book, said popular book. We have Series 2000, Triple Letter Story, a bunch of House of Shivers, and some movie books. So, quite a variety there. And yeah, these are just some titles that aren't very good, and it might be for grammatical reasons like our first one, or maybe they're just so unbelievably bland and barely tell you anything about the story that it's like, yeah, these are bound to end up here. And there's a lot of, you know, bland titles in Goosebumps. Think of The Wish from Tales 4. Yeah, it's a good story. I really like that one, but yeah, I tell you, it's a really bland title. It tells you, well, there's going to be a wish made. Yeah, there's a wish. And there's other titles from, say, the GYG series. Well, it's a relatively creative series when it comes to titles. Some of them kind of fall flat, like Escape from Horror House. Yeah. But we're not talking about those today, because I want to just address, we're not talking about bland titles. That might be another video in the future. We're just talking about ones that generally just kind of suck. And I'm just going to make it clear, this first one, just diving into it, does not suck. In fact, I have grown on it over the years, and I still kind of love it because, well, it's kind of one of the most popular Goosebumps titles of all time. And it's not even bad. It's just from a grammatical sense, it doesn't really sound good. Especially when you realize how it sounds coming out the tongue. Welcome to Dead House. I'm not even kidding. This is real. It's literally just a grammatical sense that this pisses me off in a way. Welcome to Dead House. We're using dead as an adjective here, and if we replace the adjective dead with another more fitting word for house, let's say White House, like the White House, we have Welcome to White House. See how that doesn't really work? Now think of Welcome to Dead House. Why is the house described as dead? It makes sense, but it really doesn't roll off the tongue well at all, and it's one of those titles where I have been so used to it that I almost forgot how weird it sounds when you maybe first saying it for the first time. Welcome to Dead House. Sounds normal, right? Welcome to Dead House. Grammatically, it just doesn't really make sense. And it sounds a little atrocious. I love the book. Don't get me wrong, but the title's a little wonky. Ed Hondro here, and to further add, I just want to say that if you added a "the" right in the middle of it, Welcome to the Dead House, it'd sound so much better. I mean, not right now, obviously, that sounds atrocious because we're so used to Welcome to Dead House. But if it was like that initially, then we'd be so much more used to that, and it just wouldn't be grammatically pissing me off in a way. Because Welcome to Dead House, it just sounds wrong when you think about it long enough. I've grown on it so much, and obviously I've said it so many times, that it's just come out as Welcome to Dead House. And it feels normal. Until you really dissect it. That was my ramble session in this video. Let's get into some more, you know, probably hated or agreeable titles. Starting off with, for realsies now, the worst Goosebumps book of all time, and one of the most recent books. In fact, the most recent as I'm recording this. Say My Name, Say My Name. I'm sorry for all the fans out there, the lack thereof. I've seen some positive reviews, but Jesus Christ, this book's bad. Abhorrent even. This book has one of the most stupid titles ever. Say My Name, Say My Name. And, why? I don't know. I really can't tell you. It's a reference to the video game within the book, but I don't know why, of all things, we chose to call it Say My Name, Say My Name. Because, I mean, the video game doesn't even make sense. The video game called Say My Name, Say My Name has nothing to do with its own title. So why even call it the book after that? I would have been way less pissed if it was just the video game in the book. But no, mild spoilers ahead. It's just the fact that the book is titled that's like, why? And let alone, it's a really rough title, Say My Name, Say My Name. It doesn't sound very intriguing. Sure, it's like, why? Why do you want to say your name? But especially after story, it's like, what did that even mean? Like, why was that, of all things, the thing to catch people? It could have been called so many other more creative things. Stine, you could have spent a little longer cooking in that kitchen, or meth lab, I'm assuming, just from how this turned out. But either way, Say My Name, Say My Name. It's a title. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, even in the story for the video game, because nothing to do with it besides I guess things saying say my name, which also doesn't make any sense at all, and it's just an abhorrent shithole. Really doesn't make any sense. Now moving on, we have Return to Ghost Camp. Now, I want to make it clear again that I love this story. This is one of the most overhated Goosebumps books of all time. And it is genuinely one of the best Goosebumps Series 2000 stories out there, and a must-read. If you can get past the fact that it's not a Ghost Camp sequel, which I am, because I don't even like Ghost Camp that much. I think it's just pretty good. The sequel is better. I said it, man. But, Return to Ghost Camp's title, I can't ignore it. It's completely false advertising, and I think it's the biggest piece of false advertising in Goosebumps history. I could have brought up other things like Frankenstein's Dog and stuff, but it's like, those are fine titles on their own, and even it has the story. It's like, at least it's not a sequel like Frankenstein's Dog 2, and it has nothing to do with the original. That one's just kind of false advertising in its own way. It's not slappy in the same right, but those aren't bad titles, just weird. This is a sequel that has nothing to do with the original story. And, like I said, the story's great on its own, but just the title is not something I'm big on. And I don't know why it was attached to the original Ghost Camp, aside from maybe money, if it sold well. Apparently, I'm assuming so, because they made a sequel, quote-unquote. Next up, another House of Shivers story. Yeah, this isn't even the end, too. Goblin Monday. Do I even need to talk about it? It's two random words slapped together, and I'm laughing about it because it's kind of stupid, but it really is just like, why? I don't get it. I think it was maybe a random word generator, and they decided to put the prompt monster and some kind of proper noun. I believe Monday is a proper noun, some kind of noun. And they came up with Goblin and Monday. Maybe after a few attempts. Maybe we got Vampire Burger King. Who knows? But Jesus criminy, this is not very good. Yeah, I like the book, but it's just like, this isn't a great title at all. And it barely makes sense because the finale takes place on, you guessed it, a Tuesday. No, I'm just joking, it is a Monday, but it's like, why? Just really uncreative. Moving on, we have the Triple Letter story. And let me tell you, I said there'd be no particularly bland title. That's not what I'm going for, though I do have two coming up that I kind of think are bland, but more of like a shitty, cheap way to cash in on something. We have The Revenge from Triple Header Book 2. Yeah, I really like this story too. There's a little theme here. Stories I kind of like, minus Say My Name. This one, though, this title is so unbelievably bland and barely tells you a fuck about the story. It just tells you, this is a story about revenge. And that's very surface level, because it's not like a deep story, just like, there's a lot more to it. There's a lot of astral projection and witchcraft and a lot of dangerous aspects and most of this, the tropes that you'd expect from a story called The Revenge. It's still like, dude, it's really bland. It's so uncreative that it really makes you wonder who approved the title. I mean, Stine apparently wrote this. I don't know if I can trust that, because he didn't write any of the Tales books, apparently, or at least some of the stories. I'm pretty sure he didn't write most of them anyways. So, whoever wrote this, not very creative. Now, moving on back to House of Shivers, the final one, and from here on out, it's all moderns. Night of the Living Mummy. Y'all already know how I feel about the book. It's awesome. Again, a book that I love. And it just has a really title, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it feels like it's trying to cash in a Night of the Living Dummy. And I mean that to a fucking egregious extent. Because it's not just like, Night of the Puppet People. No, this is Night of the Living Mummy. It's one damn syllable change from dummy. Night of the Living Mummy, Night of the Living Dummy. And trust me, I have gotten them confused. Yeah. And, it's a great book, but the title just feels like a cheap cash-in to the Night of the Living Dummy franchise, which just pisses me off. Now, for our final two, we have our movie books, which I fairly put next to each other. We have the thumbnail pick, Night of the Living Monsters. Yeah, I love the cover art. It's so dumb. Champ's face gets me every time. But, and the story's okay. It's just like, really? Is this the best they could do? I know it's not a very popular book, and I don't think anybody really cares to read it, because it's just a re-novelization of the film, really, really shortened. And it's a fine read. It's just like, this title, once again, similar to Night of the Living Mummy. It's Night of the Living Monsters, and it's not the most similar, unlike the last one where it's just a syllable change. But it's still like, why? This is probably the most bland title ever. I mean, really bland. This one was still trying to weakly cash in on the Living Dummy franchise, especially since Slappy is in the book, obviously, and in the movie. Though I won't count this as a Slappy book when we get to my re-ranking. Now for our final book here. We have a book, again, that I really like. Well, not love, but I genuinely like it. Haunting Returns. The Haunting Returns, sorry. And, it's nothing, like, personal. And it is bland in itself. But, there's no haunting returning. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is happening here, but the haunting is not returning. I know, I'm sounding like a little shit, but it's legitimately true. The haunting is not returning. This is the first haunting, in fact. There's no returning of the haunting. And I don't know if that's like, oh, the haunting returns in the form of a novelization. Like, maybe it's trying to do that. But either way, it's about the haunting returning. And the Vanished Return, well, that's about the Vanished Return. That's a truthful title. This is not. This is the Haunting Returns, and there's no haunting return. So it just kind of pisses me off whenever I see it. And honestly, like I said, it's really fucking bland. The Haunting Returns. Really? I prefer Resurrection almost, if y'all remember that. Oh. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this book analysis, I guess, of bad titles instead of book review. And tell me your least favorite titles down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.